This episode of the Restoration Today podcast is brought to you by Core Group and The Collective by Core 2025. The Collective 2025 will be an experience you do not want to miss. From strategy to certification, the 2025 Collective Agenda delivers conversations worth having. Don't miss this once-a-year opportunity to learn, grow, rub shoulders with the best in the restoration world, and see what Core has up its sleeves. You will leave refreshed, challenged, inspired, and maybe a little tired. Live in Austin in early August, visit thecollectivebycore.com for more information. Hey Restorers, welcome to this episode of the Restoration Today podcast. Today I am very excited to have some kind of technology software gurus in the house. Probably a familiar face and a new rising familiar face in the industry, I think is maybe what I'm going to say here. So I'm very excited to have Lindsay Bunker, who is the CEO and co-founder of JobSight, and then Lane Larsen, who is the founder and CEO of CleanClaims. Both platforms are really innovative, really kind of pushing the envelope forward and helping streamline things, make things simpler for contractors, whether you're in the field or in the office, wherever that may be. So I'm excited to have them both here because they have some announcements to make and also just have really cool platforms to talk about. So thank you both for being here. Lindsay, I'm going to toss it over to you first to kind of introduce yourself and share a little bit about JobSight for anybody who hasn't heard of it.
Yes, thanks, Michelle. We're excited to be here, and this is just a fun industry, fun time in this industry, and we have a killer product, as does Lane and CleanClaims, so it's exciting to kind of be joining forces in that regard. But yeah, so as you said, I'm co-founder and CEO of JobSight. My little bit of my background is I worked in the restoration industry for it's been about 10 years now. Prior to that, construction, accounting, all that stuff, it's kind of just ingrained in me. I don't know how it happened, but it just happened. But it's a cool industry and I've loved it the last 10 years and I just can't, I guess, find my way out of it. But no, so I was an accountant for a restoration company for the last 10 years for Jerry Pennock, a co-founder of JobSight. And that's where we developed JobSight, and we brought it to the market about a year and a half ago, almost coming up on 2 years. And we've been building it for the last, 4 or 5 years. So it's definitely been a work in progress, but we're excited to be getting it out there, and we're getting great feedback and great response. And we're passionate about it and we love our product. So
That's awesome. Restoration has a way of, like, once you're in it, you don't really leave. I think
yeah,
you find a home here and you make friends and it's a great place to be and you don't leave. So
yes.
yes. All right, Lane, welcome back to the show because you've been here before. So I'm going to
Thank
toss it
you.
over to you to introduce yourself and share about CleanClaims a little bit.
Okay, thanks for having us back. I'm like, people are probably going to get annoyed of how, I don't know, I haven't been on here too much. It's been a while, right? So we're still good. Okay, good.
And Paul still
Yeah,
harasses me that I didn't show up for the one that he was on. So
yeah. I know, right? I love it. Yeah, so Lane Larsen, co-founder, or not co-founder, now I'm copying Lindsay, founder of CleanClaims. So my background is restoration as well. Built and sold 4 of my own restoration companies, had my own construction company, been in the industry a long time. So CleanClaims was built on the perspective of a contractor. So our obsession is, built by contractors for contractors. So it's just essentially, in this industry, there's so many softwares. We eliminate 19 different software applications into one. The biggest thing that we fix and help our clients in this industry is simplicity and accountability and 100% consistency. So I can turn a 30-year technician or a 2-day-old technician into being triple master restorers. They'll do it the exact same, do it perfect. So companies get to dictate and control what their processes are, and techs have to do it. You don't have a choice anymore. So it's that side of it. And then the remote monitoring side as well. Our remote monitoring, the biggest difference between us and anybody else in the industry is our Wi-Fi routers that we provide. So we can provide service anywhere in the world. We have yet, knock on wood, out of Europe, Australia, bunkers underground, that we can get service for Wi-Fi calling, texting, emails, then also hooking up our sensors into structural like buildings and the thermal hygrometers and moisture meters. So that's kind of what we do. We just simplify everything.
Perfect. I think that's what you both do, which is why there's some synergy here. So, okay, I want to have you both talk a little bit about, Lane, I'll toss this to you first, what you were seeing when you were on the contractor side, when it came to kind of software and technology platforms that made you decide, all right, there's space here to innovate, there's space here to create something else. Like, what are contractors looking for? What were you looking for that caused you to kind of innovate and design CleanClaims?
Well, it's just a nightmare. All of us are living the same nightmare. It's having, 8 different software applications, you have 4 different logins, you have to quadruple enter everything into everything else. And that's where the hours and the waste of time and the tech's not doing what they're supposed to or forgetting a lot. I mean, it never ends of the nightmare, the day to day that we live. I mean, the first 6 years I was in business, everybody kind of knows this story, but every Wednesday was the most worthless, unproductive meeting because we get together and it's where's your pictures, where's your readings, why don't you document, why are we arguing to get paid, why are we going back out, like that never ending battle. So that was where my obsession started. Is I'm never in the box. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm for sure going to do it, like to just prove you wrong. And I won't say anything, but this was more for me though. It was just, I was so sick of dealing with this that I used every software that was out there and they're all great and they all have their place. But it was just, I built CleanClaims to eliminate all that. I mean, I originally built this to franchise my company. We were already in 3 different states, 4 locations, and I was going to start my first franchise in Houston, Texas. And it was just, if I'm going to streamline this and grow, I got to get rid of organized chaos. And I think that's what every organization has, is that it is literally everybody running around with their heads cut off. You have 3 people doing the same job. It's just that nightmare that never ends. And this literally eliminates all of that crap. So that was my obsession, is just like, I'm not going to take that this is how it is for an answer. Like, there's no way. There's got to be a better way to do this. So yeah, that's how it kind of started.
There's got to be a better way. So Lindsay, what about you? I'm guessing you have had some of the similar experiences.
Yeah, it's funny when all the things that Lane says, and especially when we first met Lane, it was like, wait, he's saying the exact same thing that we say. So something's happening here, right? And so we want to solve problems. We have to come up with solutions for these people and for the guys in the field, and then create this transparency. So there was just such a need for it. And contractors, what they're looking for is they're looking for everything. They're looking for something to solve all their problems. They're looking for something that can solve those problems, but with little to no interruption. And that's probably one of the biggest, I would say one of the biggest hurdles that we have to kind of blaze through, is little to no interruption, but then also solving all of those problems. And then one thing that's been really exciting as of late is, because of all the tech that's happening, I think that owners and contractors are starting to really be more aware of their data. The awareness of their business as a whole has become a lot more accessible to them, which is awesome. I love it. I'm a data nerd, and I just love diving into those things. I love numbers and metrics and data. So that's been a really cool, unforeseen kind of side of this whole thing, is just the response that we get from contractors that, oh, now I'm starting to see this. It kind of takes the blinders off because of the transparency that happens from the field, or from even just from the office upstairs or down the hall to their office. So just as far as what they're looking for so many solutions, but then what they find is something also that was completely unexpected, which we're actually having a lot of fun with. So
I love it. Okay, so integrations are something that everybody's constantly pushing for, and there's differences between integrations. There's true integrations, there's open APIs. It all works differently. And I know both of you have been strategic when it comes to integrations versus maybe just like, we'll integrate with everybody. It's like, no, let's find what's truly a good partner and what really works with our system. So Lindsay, I'm going to toss this one to you first. Talk a little bit about your integration strategy for JobSight.
yeah, so kind of how I spoke to with Lane when we first met Lane and saw his product, he had the same background, same story, kind of like, okay, we get it, we're on the same path, and we are wanting to offer the same solution to contractors. So we had that common goal in mind, and that was a big thing. We get people all the time, customers all the time, do you integrate with this? Do you integrate with that? And we are very strategic, and I like to say we're very picky and choosy of what we do integrate with, because we don't want to sacrifice the simplicity of our platform. Where we are our platform solves a lot of problems, and it hits so many areas. It's that all-encompassing platform that we call all-in-one, right? And so because of that, it's really, we have to be cautious about, because we have contractors that say, oh, can you integrate with this product, this product, this product? It touches on so many areas of the process through a restoration job. And so we have to be picky and choosy, otherwise we're going to have this really complex, complicated software that it got that way a little bit at a time through every single integration. So we are very strategic about it. And the way that we approach it is 100% by user feedback and industry feedback. So we're very close with all of our contractors that utilize our product. We have several that they love giving feedback, and they love that they are a part of the growth of that product. And so those are my go-tos. I'm like, hey, have you heard about this? What do you know about this? Do you guys struggle with this? And so that's where we get really picky and choosy and see, okay, is this a solution that would help our product maintain the simplicity and also help our customers and the industry overall? So when, there's there's products for everything out there, especially right now. People have their crazy tech stacks, and we want to make sure that we're making the right selection, which is why the CleanClaims and JobSight integration just made sense to us. We came from the same place where our main goal is the same. And so overall, it just made sense.
Love it. Okay. So Lane, from your perspective, what is your take on integrations, and what journey does CleanClaims take with that?
Yeah, so to Lindsay's point, like we're selling convenience, right? That's what it comes down to. Is when I look at like, why does it matter, or whatever. Everybody says they integrate, like you say, but when I still have to log in, log out, double enter, and it's not a true integration, then I can't sell that. That's what everybody else is selling in the industry, and it's BS. That's why we're at where we're at, right? And so the fact that JobSight's the CRM built by a contractor, they focus on that. We focus on the field documentation, the remote monitoring. So combined, it's that all-in-one solution. But Lindsay knows in the first 5 minutes, and I told her team, I said, if you guys can't give me seamless integration, bi-directional, back and forth, like one login, then we're not. I tell everybody that we integrate with that's what we do. And so that's the convenience side of it, is it has to be convenient, or else it's back to we're just selling what everybody else sells, which is inconvenience and this login and that login and double. I mean, so that's why it's fun being with another company that has the same vision that I have, because it's all in the details, not to get all scriptural, but it's, doing little things well makes big things come to pass. Yep. And so it's all in the details that I care about. I don't care about the generalization. It's like, okay, where are these endpoints going to hit? Where is it going to come back and forth? Where does the client need to see it? So we put in all the work to make all those endpoints go exactly where they need to go. So that way, essentially the flow of JobSight is the job comes in, they're the CRM, they're collecting all the data. So whoever's in the office is grabbing that data, but then it all gets pushed into CleanClaims. So then when the techs go out in the field, they only have to live in CleanClaims. And then everything they're doing in CleanClaims, from the photos, the notes, the documents, you name it, whatever, all that gets pushed back into JobSight automatically as it's happening. So it's all live, real-time data. So now you really have it's an all-in-one, but a true integration to where now it's simplified for the techs to just live in CleanClaims, but then it's now the admins just live in, in JobSight. But all that data is being pushed back and forth, so you're seeing it. So that's what sells. That's what everybody wants. It's like everybody's trying to fight this battle and integrate with everybody. And that's, again, back to Lindsay's point, why it's super strategic and who we pick and choose who we're with. It has to make sense, and they have to be willing to give us the details that they need, and vice versa. It has to be able to be that synergy. So that was what was fun doing all this with JobSight, is, again, coming from the same background, but they have the CRM approach and we have the field documentation. So combined, it's like a perfect mesh between the two, and it's all for the contractor. So it's fun to sell it, even though I'm a tech guy. I mean, I'm really a contractor. I'm not a tech guy. That's the thing, is people ask me questions. I'm like, great question. I have no clue. I'll find out from my really smart developers, right? But it's having two companies together that both have construction background, mitigation background. That's what helps give clients what they need. And that's what's fun, is we don't have to oversell our product. It's like, here's what it does. Here's what it solves. Use it, and you can find out for yourself. And that's the best way it sells. And word of mouth has just been spreading like wildfire. And it's clients asking us for this integration is what's kind of brought it to head too. We wanted to do it, but now it's like we put it to the top of the list because clients are begging for it. So it's a cool, just that it just naturally flowing. So yeah.
So, okay, this kind of touches on something that you both have already talked about. There's always a push to innovate. And I'm sure you have customers coming to you all the time, like Lindsay, you were talking about. We have some customers that love to give us feedback. And Lane, I'm sure that you have customers that love to give you feedback too, and are always asking, can you do this? Can you innovate this? Can you integrate with this? Can you do all of these things? So how do you figure out where to say no and where to say yes, and where to innovate and where to be like, this doesn't align with where we're going? So Lane, I'll toss that one to you first.
I always throw back the immediate question is, what's your problem now? And what are you trying to solve? It's great to hear all of their hopes and dreams. I've got them too. I've got a never ending list of so many things I want to do, but it's sticking to, okay, what do you have now? and what are we replacing and how is it better? So let's stick with that. And then we'll put your wish list over here. But then I meet with my team every week and go through what I've heard from clients. So Paul and I will get together in the team and it's like, hey, what did your clients say this week? What did they say? What do they like? What do they don't like? What's next on the list? So we prioritize every week in our calls of like what's coming up next and what's most important and all that. So I think it's better to under promise and over deliver. I never want to be the one that can promise the world. And I think that's where the industry is so burned out, and me included, is I'm so sick of being sold on a PowerPoint presentation that this is the latest and greatest, most amazing thing. And then you get out in the field and try to use it and it doesn't work for crap. And I think all of us can agree, and especially in the industry, that we are so sick of that and burned out. I know I am. And so our fun part is I'm happy to tell a client, no, that we're not going to do that. I'm happy to say yes, like if it makes sense, but we're going to do it smart and in the order that it needs to done. So what are your problems now? We'll solve these. I'll put this on your wish list and we'll get to it at some point in time, but I'm not going to say yes just to make you happy. And so it's just that full transparency is what makes it nice, because now I'm not burning bridges either. It's just, it is what it is. So I think being honest about what's actually happening versus over promising and like saying you can give the world, which everybody's done that before us. And so that's the main thing, is just being honest with our clients about what's possible and what's not. So
Good
Yeah.
answer. Lindsay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
absolutely agree. Yeah, and we have the same approach. We're tracking, I mean, we track every little tiny thing because there's power in numbers and power in data. And so from the sales team to our support team to our customer success team, everybody, we're tracking all of those, the wants and needs of from people, and then we're getting that feedback and then making sure that it's an appropriate ad or use, or, you know, and putting our plan together. It's funny when we kind of look at our roadmap for the year, and when we line everything out, it's like, yeah, and then the next day can completely change because of how the feedback that we're getting, because we want to make sure that the industry is taken care of, but the industry is also can pivot so quickly in so many directions, and it's such a broad industry that we have to be very careful that we're making sure that we're constantly on top of all that feedback. So what I like to give an example of is recently we did some mobile rework on some just design aspects of our app. And us in the office, we thought, you know, this one little feature, which was a color bar with a status and a number, the one little feature, we're like, okay, I like it better with just a color. So we send it out to a bunch of people. Everybody on our side was on board with just a color, not a number. We just wanted the color. So we talked to, I don't know, 20, 30 different users. And the people that actually that specific color and number applied to, they were the only ones that said, no, I have to have the color and the number. So had I gone with the approach of, hey, look, let's just do it what looks best, this is what I think, even though I've been in the industry, there's you have to constantly get that feedback from the people that are actually using that functionality. So, and it was funny too, with the general managers of those restoration companies, they all said what we said. So we literally have to dive down to the technician level and the people in the field that are actually using the product. And okay, how do we do it? How do we do this? Are we doing this the right way? Are we making this the overall best product at the end of the day? So that's been one of the most powerful tools for us, managing and tracking any kind of feedback, whether it's in sales, customer success, or even just in the industry, like at trade shows. What's up and coming? Where are things headed? And then also from the field, directly from the specific users.
Perfect. So what do you two tell people? Both your platforms are really easy, and I know that. I've watched Paul, for example, like use the app during a conference, and 5 minutes later he comes back and he's like, look what I did. So I've seen it.
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. But what do you tell people where, you know, you've both talked about the burnout of the industry of like, there's been so many tech platforms and so many integrations. It's been so complicated and big tech stacks. And that just has been the way the industry has worked for a long time. So what do you tell people that are like, yeah, this looks great. Is it too good to be true? And how in the world am I possibly going to convince my team to onboard a different software without all mutinying overnight? So Lindsay, you can go with that.
Yes, this is like my favorite question, because we get this all the time. I mean, I love a challenge. I love to prove people wrong. And so I'll have people come up at trade shows or something, and they'll be like, yeah, you're just another job management software. And then I'll start asking them some questions, and I'm like, okay, I know exactly the questions that they're going to ask. I know that what they've been through, because I've been through it. When we were building JobSight, we had a huge tech stack. And it was like, okay, the biggest thing that we asked ourselves is we started the chopping block. How do we get rid of this one? What do we have to have in JobSight in order to get rid of this piece of tech? And we just slowly started chipping away at it. And we did it in a way that not only got rid of that application itself, but then we made it better because it's all in one, right? And so I love this question that when people come up and they're burnt out, they're like, yeah. And I'm like, just give me 5 minutes. Let me just show you something. I'll start asking them some questions. And then they're like, okay, all right. In fact, the most recent one, Contractor Connection, he's now a customer, but he was so standoffish. I'm like, just give me 5 minutes. Come here. Let me show you a few things. And by the end of the conversation, he's like, okay, I'm ready to sign up. Let's sign up right now. And I'm like, I mean, that's great, but let's talk a little bit more.
Yeah.
I want you to buy into it as much as I've bought into it. So it's a huge hurdle to get over for people, but once they know how committed we are to making sure that it remains simple and that the product we're offering is what it is, I think that's been the most powerful thing. And people can tell, they know that we're passionate about it. I mean, you listen to Lane for 5 minutes and you can tell he's passionate about it. So it definitely we have to somehow convey that for people, and then that gets the buy-in.
Yeah. Lane, what's your take on that? Getting people to adopt?
Just ditto to what Lindsay said. It's just like I'm
you
obsessed.
Can't do that.
My favorite ones are the ones that are most skeptical, or like my favorite. Those are the ones I go after. The ones that are the hardest to get are my favorite to get, because once we get them, they'll commit forever, because they're just like, holy crap, it is what you said it is, right? So that's like my upset. And just barely, like, I mean, we were down at Global Catastrophe Training with Chris and Leanne. Like, we trained 38, I think there was 38 people. I might be exaggerating that number. It was around that. But like in 15 minutes, we had them trained, and they documented a whole entire hospital. I mean, that's the beauty of it, is like, we love these trainings because don't take our word for it. It's all BS. And I say the same thing. I'm like, you can tell me all day long, it's great. I don't believe you. I have to put it in my hands and feel it, And so I relay that message to clients to relate to them. I'm like, don't take my word for it. It's all BS until we prove what it does. So here it is. Like, we offer to onboard people, get them set up, make sure that they're set up for success. So that's really what the approach is you don't have to listen to me. Here's what it solves. Here's your problems. Back to Lindsay's point, just quick questions to are your technicians getting pictures every time? Are you getting readings on the weekends? Are you getting paid when you're supposed to? And everybody answers no, because the human element forgets, me included. I'm the first one to admit, if you want to know what mistakes you can make, I've made them all. And that's why it's like, I'm just like, trust me, it doesn't work. I've tried it. Just don't do it. So that's the fun part is don't take our word for it. It's all, the proof is in the pudding. You don't have to believe what I say. Let the product sell itself. And that's my obsession is that it's just, again, built by restorers and contractors for restorers. So everything else in this industry, it seems like, not everything, but it was either a tech company or insurance company that gave us stuff that they thought that we needed, but it doesn't translate over because they don't know what it's like being in the field. Until you're at a tech level and can get it, it's all about the simplicity. Where does everything go right and everything go wrong? Starts with the technician. That's who's going out at midnight. That's who's getting the information. If they don't go out, they don't respond. It's either it's going to go great or it's going to go south real quick. It all starts with the tech. So the easier you can make it for the tech, that's the consistency through and through, that you'll get everything you need consistently, no matter who it is, because of the processes and the flows, right? So that's kind of, yeah. Anyway, mixed in with my tangent, of course, Michelle, because I got to do that, right?
Good. It was good. I actually wanted to dig a little bit into something that you just briefly touched on, which was getting paid. That's such a huge problem in the industry. So I was curious if either of you had a specific example of how maybe using your platforms has helped or expedited, or I don't know, maybe there's been adjuster feedback even when people have seen wow, this is a lot different than what we've seen. Anything. Lindsay, you're nodding as if you have stories. So
yes, you're speaking my language.
Yep, go for it. Getting paid. How can having the right software platforms help with getting paid?
Yeah, so that's really the gap that we bridged with JobSight, was bringing the accounting and the numbers and admin side into that CRM. So it just blew my mind when we were like, okay, we have our financial software and then we have our job management software. I got to wait till it's done in here before I can invoice, or I got to wait till I can run payroll to get actual job numbers. And it was just such a huge disconnect. And so that was one of the huge gaps that I'm like, we are bridging this, we're tackling this head on. And that's, I feel like what really sets our product apart is the accounting and the numbers side of things. So if I'm going to go send an invoice to somebody and I'm the accounts receivable, I want to know everything that's happened on that job up to the last 5 minutes. I don't want to have to go to anybody to get that. I don't want to have to log into a different software in order to get that. So we made invoicing available in our CRM, in JobSight, so that it all happens right there. Why wouldn't we bill from there, right? And so that's probably been the biggest side and biggest advantage to our product. And me partially like having was my most favorite part of JobSight, and being a part of building that was the number side of things and making that part so much easier and so much better, because the end result that came from it was it was so powerful. The fact that we can get those real-time job numbers, job expenses down to the penny without having to have the hours export, run through payroll, get that labor burden, all that stuff. So we are getting everything in real time as far as numbers goes, right inside of JobSight. So whoever's running my job, at the end of the day, they're going to know exactly where their numbers sit, which I have sat in way too many meetings with estimators at the end of their job and saying, dude, you take this job. But it was 2 weeks after they closed it. And they're like, well, I didn't know where my labor sat. And it's like, okay, I can't blame you. So we got to fix that. So that was that, offering that solution on both the outgoing money and the incoming money. It had the same effect, and it's been pretty powerful.
Perfect. Okay, Lane, what about you? Getting paid. It's a problem.
So this is always the topic, and there's board like meetings about this and panels, and it is like, It is not complicated at all. If you have the data, you'll get paid. My obsession, as you know, and I've said this on here before, is the 3-day dry out is BS. We all know it's BS, right? A building can dry in a day, a building can dry in 30 days. It all just depends on the materials and what it is, right? So this dry standard of a 3-day dry out is all BS, right? But if you have the data, you cannot fight the data. And that's like our obsession with CleanClaims. Everything is time-stamped, unmanipulated, like real-time, geofence located, like it is what it is. So if it was after hours at 11:30 and I got the geofence coordinates, you can't debate me whether you're paying me that or not, right? So a couple examples that come to mind, and I think I told one of these on here, but a personal example is when I was beta testing this at my own company at Flood Pros here in Utah, is I thought I was getting sued by Allstate, because, when we get checks and we get envelopes, it's a check. It's a teeny little thin envelope. You got it. It says their name. You pull it up. It's a check, like guaranteed, right? Well, I got an envelope like this thick. Okay. And it was funny. I told a client about this story, and he thought I was full of it until it happened to him too. And I was like, it's again, don't take my word for it. Like, I'm just telling you what happened to me. Right. But So my assistant called me. It was a Monday, and I thought we were getting sued. It was an envelope that thick, Allstate. I'm like, freak. They printed out a job. They slapped like a lawsuit on top of it. Something's going on, right? I was freaking out. So sit down, open it up. It was 17 checks from 17 jobs we'd finished in the last 2 weeks. Not one phone call, not one argument, nothing. So this is what proved, as I was building it for my company to franchise, that it's working, because we are consistently giving the data. And we weren't on the TPA side yet. We were like doing plumbers, referrals, property management, all that. We were getting paid like this, not even being on the preferred list, because we, in our local community, all the agents and adjusters knew who we were and that we consistently give that data. So they were paying us out like they would on a TPA. So another one is we had a client, 16-day drought on a Walmart. I always refer to this one just because I love the timing of it. But every day in our system, we have what's called a daily snapshot. So you can share the data with whomever you want, whether it's the adjuster, property manager, the carrier, whatever. We want that transparency. That's part of getting paid. If you can create the transparency in the moment, then you can't start the debate or argument at the end. We can start showing and sharing what's happening daily to know what's going on, why it's taking more than 3 days, what air movers we have. Here's the psychrometrics, like, you know what I mean? So this client, at the end of 16 days, after sharing that data every day with all parties involved, they got paid out $1.8 million in 4 days of completing a commercial job. And it's just, again, back to the simplicity of it all. If you have the data, you'll get paid. Like, that's all it comes down to. So when you can make it so easy for a tech to consistently have to go through steps to get the data and can't mess up, and they don't need to know any experience, they don't need to understand what they're doing, it's going to make them a triple master. So when you get that kind of consistency, then you're going to get consistently paid. That's what it all comes down to, is you got to be consistent. So it's simple. Get the data, make sure you're collecting it every time, but don't rely on this triple master store or this guy or that guy, because then it turns into 3 people doing the same jobs, babysitting each other. It's just like, if I'm going to pay, in my company where I ran it, it's like, if I'm paying a tech to go out and do this and you don't do it, then why do I even pay you? Like, there's no point of doing it. If I have to go out and redo it, then I just wasted payroll, not to be mean, but that's just the reality of it, right? So you create that consistency and you're going to consistently get paid, because then you create that reputation for your company that you are data driven and you're giving them everything they need nonstop. And how do you debate facts? You can't debate facts and numbers. So that's really just what it comes down to. If you want to get paid, get the data. But that's what we provide between JobSight and CleanClaims, is the consistency of getting it and constantly pushing that data into JobSight to then have the data to give and show exactly what it is. Like any rebuttal, you have an answer to any question. But not only that, instead of like calling the proper, like your manager or the tech asking, what did you do on this job? Because it's all live real-time data, the office staff can access and see all the data live as it's happening to be able to answer that question if an adjuster has it, So data, you just got to have the data and the consistency.
I can see why you guys get along so well.
Yeah.
But I see this energy. I love it. Okay. Anything else that either of you want to share before you wrap it up? Give little plugs for where people can find you, maybe what shows you have coming up, those kind of things. Lindsay, I'll toss that to you first. Where can people find you? What shows are next? Anything else? Closing?
Yep. Yeah. So, so to speak to a little bit of our integration with CleanClaims, I think we're very quickly, that's going to be rolling out here. And so they'll be able to find that obviously on our website and all of their platforms, social platforms. I think our next show, I want to say is it Experience, maybe?
Okay.
I don't know. I think we'll be at Experience. There might be a few other events that we'll be attending prior to that. But to see us, we'll definitely be on the Experience floor in Vegas in September, I think, second week of September.
Yep. Perfect. Okay, Lane.
See, this is where I need Paul. Paul is he helps me out because I don't know where we go. We go to everything. So whatever coming up, I'm sure we're going to be there. We'll be at Core. Paul and I are speaking at Core. We'll be at the Experience. I'm sure there's 10 other things in between there that him or I are going to be at. But yeah, the biggest thing is cleanclaims.com. There's a big button that says request a demo. It books on our calendars with either me, Paul, or Corey from our team to schedule a demo and show it. And then like 30 minutes to an hour can give you information and show you what we're talking about. And then, so that would be, that's the basic stuff. So just reach out online.
Perfect. Lindsay, throw out your URL for people just real quick.
Yep. Just jobsight.com, and it's sight.com. Same thing, book a demo. And then if people are interested in both the CleanClaims and JobSight demo at the same time, we have a way that we can connect that and make that happen as well.
Perfect.
And Lindsay, you correct me if I'm wrong, but like back to what she was talking about before, is we're obsessed with letting clients give us feedback. I always say all the time, like, don't feed my ego. I need to know what's not working. I know it's good, and I know between JobSight and us, it's going to be phenomenal, but I need to know where different endpoints need to be. What do you need here? What do you need there? Those are the things like Lindsay and I talked about. Like, we have mutual clients that are already willing to beta test this for us because we want to perfect it. We don't want to just do it. Like, obviously with Lindsay and I being in the industry, we know 90% of what needs to be there, but it's again, back to those details, is like, we want to know where we're missing the ball, where it can be better. Like, we can always make it be more consistent and smoother. So that's the other fun part, but yeah.
Doing the hard part on our end to make sure it's easy on the user's end for sure.
I love it. All right, you two. Well, thank you so much for being here. Congrats on the integration and all the work that you both have done. I look forward to seeing you both at some trade shows soon, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks
Michelle.
so much, Michelle.
For more Restoration Today and the latest news, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com, and find the latest episodes of the Restoration Today podcast on your favorite podcasting platform.